Hi, welcome to Club. This is Susanne. I'm going to teach a Pilates class to you. It's a back to basics class. It's also flexion free. So it's suitable for anybody with spinal issues, with osteoporosis. It's also suitable for the member that has not done Pilates very often. It's to increase your core strength and hopefully mobility as well. The class is 60 minutes long. You will need a mat, or at very least a soft carpet. You will need a block. You can see it there on the floor, that block there. But if you don't have a block, you can use a couple of cookbooks, for example. A stretch band, which is that. If you don't have a stretch band, you can use the belt of your bathrobe, for example. That would work nicely too. And then behind my shoulder there, you can see my chair. It's a sturdy chair without any wheels, please. And those are pieces of equipment that you need. Good, so let's start. Good, you're going to stand with your feet hip width apart. You can feel a fist between the front and the back of your foot. And then you're going to start to roll your shoulders back. Stand really, really tall and stand securely over your feet. The center of gravity sits on your heels, so that's where you're heaviest. Inhale through the nose and exhale through pursed lips. Good. So we all have our little backpacks with our injuries and problems with us all the time. You're the expert when it comes to your body. So if you're unsure whether you should do something, then I recommend don't do it and come and see us at the club face to face so we can have a look at you. Or alternatively, of course, ask your physio or ask your doctor. One more. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through pursed lips. Big shoulder rolls. Pull the shoulders back and down. You're going to keep the knees nice and soft. You're going to hold on to your hips, and then you're going to give me a pelvic tilt. I'm going to stand sideways for you. Have a look at my hips. I'm pulling my pubic bone, my genitals, towards my rib cage, and then I'm bringing it backwards again. So there's a movement through the lower end of my spine. Imagine that your hips are a bucket full of water and you're drizzling the water out to the back. And then you're drizzling the water out to the front, and that's a pelvic tilt. We're going to be doing this in all sorts of positions. Breathe out as you tilt. Breathe in as you reverse. Good. One more time. And now your bucket needs to be centered. So there's no drizzling of water to the front or to the back. There should be a feeling of pulling in and tucking in slightly as well. So it's nice and connected here. Good. And then above the hips, you've got a nice long spine, back of the head pulls back and the shoulders are wide open. You're now going to lengthen those arms up. And you're going to look over the shoulder to find mobility in the rotation. You're going to breathe out and breathe in. So it's the rotation through the spine that I'm after. So be careful that you're not allowing the hips to move too much. You can allow a little bit of hip movement, but not so that you can't feel anything through the rib cage. So imagine that you've got a cord attached to the bottom of the very lowest rib and somebody's pulling that backwards to the back of the wall. So it's that rotation. And don't forget, I know you're watching me on screen, to turn your head. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. We'll always do this little back warm up to start off with. Breathe out and breathe in. Again, breathe out. Breathe in. Last one. And breathe out. And breathe in. Good. Now we're going to lift the arms up and we're going to stretch over the midline. The stretch should sit in the waist, just above the hip bone here. Make sure you breathe into it. Sometimes if you're very stiff, you tend to hold your breath. So don't hold your breath. Just keep breathing into it if you can. Now, I will be telling you quite often how to breathe. And if you haven't done Pilates very often, you can think, oh, God, I can't get that breathing right. And for the first few times that you come to a Pilates class, just make sure you don't hold your breath and see if you can copy what I say. And don't get frustrated if it doesn't work out. It's okay, as long as you don't hold your breath. You've got to start somewhere. Inhale and exhale. And theoretically, you should get more and more range of movement. And don't forget, if anything hurts, then reduce the range of movement. Don't move into any pain. You don't want that. You want to be pain-free. I'd rather you don't do it than do something that hurts you more. If this is your last one, bring it back to the center. Perfect. Good. Stand nice and tall. You're going to take a deep breath in, and now we're going to bring the tail back. So draw that belly button in. You're going to bring the arms forward and the tail back. Okay, so you're bending forward through the hip. I'm trying to keep my spine very, very long. Come to the top. Lift the arms up. Good, and then just lift the breastbone up. Pull your tummy in as you breathe out. So let's do that again. So you're coming forward. Beautifully long spine. So make sure I have a look at my back. Make sure that you're not collapsing like that. You're really lifting that forward, and you need to pull in through the tummy in order not to collapse. So it's not an easy exercise. And lift it up. Yeah, let's do it one more time. You come forward. Soften those knees. Lift the back of your head up, not your chin, back of the head. Back to the top. Lift those arms. And extend. Gently, gently. Bring the arms to your side. Get next up. Now that our back is nice and warm, we're going to sit down on that chair. Right, so not the chair with wheels, please. It has to be a nice, safe chair. And I've also tucked my chair right against the wall, so it's not moving. You're going to move halfway forward. Place your feet parallel and hip width apart. Again, you can put a fist between your feet. First of all, you're going to bring the arms up all the way to the ears. Pull your tummy in, tuck your toe between your legs. And take it down again. And exhale. So all the way to the ears for now. Mobilizing those shoulders. So bring it up. Now from this point, you give me a semicircle back down again. Good. Now we're going to reverse the movement. Bring it up. All the way to the ears or as close as you can, and bring it down. Good. Go again. Reverse. Bring it up. So make sure you try to pull the arms as far back as you can. I can't see my arms when I look straight ahead. So depending on your flexibility, your arms might be a little bit further forward, but try your best to pull them as far back as you can. And don't forget, you need to pull your tummy in when you do this. Tummy in, and take the arms to the side, down again, up. And of course, if you've got shoulder injuries, then reduce the range of movement to what suits you. Bring it up, in, down, exit up, inhale down. Lovely. So now we're only going to do half. So you're going to bring the arms to shoulder height and back down. We're going to add getting up to this. So at the same time as you bring the arms forward, you stand up. And then bring the arms forward again and sit down. Nice and slowly. So particularly the last 2 inches, just before your bum cheeks sit down, that's when you need to slow down. Slow down right before you sit down. Don't allow gravity to do the work for you. Take it down again. Can you imagine if you haven't got your chair tucked in somewhere, you're always asking yourself, am I still sitting on that chair or has the chair moved? That's why I tucked it against that wall. So you're nice and safe. Bring it up. Clench your bum cheeks, please. Okay, now listen, we're going to lift this off the heels now. Bring it forward. Good, and now the arms go all the way to the top, and I'm lifting it off my heels. Breathe, please. And then bring it back down again. Sit down. Inhale. Exhale forward. Arms to your side, to your ears. And lift off and hold. Breathe. Pull your tummy in. Good, let's do that again. And I'm going to make it a little bit harder for you. Bring it forward. Arms to your side. Lift. And stand tall. Good, now listen, this time you're not allowed to actually sit down anymore. So you bring your tail back and straight back to the top. So yes, my bum cheeks have touched the seat, but I didn't stay there in any way, shape or form. I didn't release my weight into the seat. Tap and lift it up again. You breathe in. So now if you're getting too hot, make sure that you're going to go and open a window for me, yes? And lift up. Don't want you overheating, depending what time of the year you're doing this class. Bring it up. Let's do one more and really focus on those balances. Tap the bum cheeks, lift up, raise, and bring it down. Perfect. Lovely. So our shoulders and our hips, our knees and our warmed up. Now I would like to work on balance. So again, you have the chair. If you don't have a chair with a back, hold on to the wall. So I'm holding on to the chair, then I have a leg, and then I have another leg. So I would like you to use the leg that's furthest away from the chair. Hold on to the hip bone and lift your heel off the floor. So one foot is flat on the floor, the other one only to toes. Hold on to your hip bone. You're going to keep the shoulders square and you're going to lift the hip bone up. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Keep going. Breathe out. Breathe in. 2 more times. So this muscle that we're activating here is the one responsible for holding the hip in a parallel position. If the hip isn't parallel, you're going to fall that way. So lift it up, activate the muscle, and then gently bring it down a little bit until the hips are parallel. And then you're going to lift that leg up. You have to make sure this hip here, the one that's attached to the floating leg, does not drop. If it drops, your center of gravity changes and you're going that way. Right over the top of that foot. And make sure you're towards the back of the heel of that foot. Good, listen, if you're more confident, you can let go of the chair. But don't let go of the chair if you're not confident. Good. If you manage to do this, you can lift the leg up a little bit higher. Lift the breastbone up, pull the shoulders back, stand nice and tall. You'll find that the standing leg and the hip flexors start to become tired. You're going to ignore it as long as you can. Make sure you breathe. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. And bring that leg down. Let's shake out those legs. Let's shake out those shoulders. Perfect. Same thing on that. So it's the leg that's furthest away from your chair. Hold on to your hip bone. And now you're going to lift the hip bone up again. Make sure that your heel doesn't sink. So what I see a lot in class is that people think they're doing it, but all they're doing is bringing the heel up and down. You need to lift the hip up to the ribs. Make sure also, a lot of time I see people lifting their shoulders up. That's also not what I want you to do. Keep the shoulders down. It's the hip bone moving towards the ribs. So it's that internal muscle here, your obliques, that you're using. Not just your obliques. It's a whole array of muscles in there. The standing leg is softened. Good. Keep going with this. 2 more. Lift it up and hold. Good. And just drop the hip a little bit. And then lift that foot up. Good. Breathing. Shoulders back. Now, at the time of me recording this, it's just the beginning of June and I've got the most beautiful foxgloves out there with a few bees, going in and out. So it's just so nice. I don't actually, obviously I planted them. I don't look at them the way that I do when I teach class in here. Good. Can you let go? Can you lift the leg a little bit higher up? Keep breathing. Four more. 3, and 2, and 1. And bring that leg down. Good job. Now listen, don't ever get frustrated with your balance. The more you practice balance, the better you're going to get at it. So if you're not very good at it and you don't practice, unfortunately, it's not going to get better. So if you think, oh, I should really work on my balance, then please do it in preparation for winter. Pull your hips back, and you see my hands are on the chair. Good. I'm going to stretch my shoulders out. You need to pull your tummy in, and then you're going to drop your breastbone down to flatten out your back. The weight is on my hands and on my feet, so I'm pulling back. And you see how my knees are slightly softened and my legs are fairly wide. And just a gentle stretch, nothing too strenuous. Breathe deep, pull that tummy in, my back is nice and long. 3, 2, come on, pull it back up. Stand a little bit closer to your chair. And still holding on to it, please. I'm now going to pull one leg back, and I'm going to press the heel into the floor. I'm also going to lock my knee out, so my knee is not bent, it's perfectly straight. So straighten that leg. Push the heel into the floor. If your leg's less flexible, you might be standing here, so that's good too. You should feel a calf stretch, so just above the ankle down at the back of your leg. Perfect. Now listen, if you can, you bend your knee a little bit, you get a deeper stretch. A different area. Let's do that again. Straighten the leg, push. With stretches, you can come into the position that I give you and you don't feel anything. That's quite possible. So when that happens, you need to be a little bit more proactive about it. So you need to start moving around. Do I need to go to the right a little bit, to the left a little bit? Do I need to just pull a little bit harder? And bend again. Maybe you need to bring the heel a little bit further back. If you can't feel it, don't think that your body is broken. You probably just need to stand in a slightly different position. Good. Step up again. Let's do the other side. Step back. Good. Make sure your feet are parallel. Just have a quick look that your feet are parallel, particularly that back foot. Ooh, and you will find that one side is tighter than the other. This one is a much tighter side for me. Make sure the chair doesn't go anywhere. I'm just going to pull it a little bit closer to me. At the moment, my leg is perfectly straightened. I'm going to gently bend it. It changes that stretch ever so lightly. And again, check that your feet are parallel, particularly the back foot. And then straighten it again. Press the heel down. Do one more time. Bend the knee, press the heel into the floor. And lengthen it one more time as you come back to the top. Well done, good. It's time to go onto the floor. So I'm going to lose the chair. You lose the chair as well. And then please come onto the floor. Just pull you a little bit closer to me. And change my camera slightly so you can see me better. Actually, I need to pull the mat back. So make your way onto the floor, please. Make sure you come down nice and carefully. Don't bash those knees onto the floor. There is no need for that. So come down carefully. That will do. It's good. We're going to take this down. And we're going to start on all fours. So your knees are underneath your hips. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. You're now going to start to give me something called a cat-cow. So bring it up. Tuck your tail in, tuck your chin in. And then forward. Really lift that breastbone forward. You can keep going with this. Inhale and exhale as the breaths come. This is a great way to warm up the length of your spine. It's a very gentle exercise. The mistakes you can do here is, in this position, not tucking the tail in. So I need to find an open sensation through the lower back, between the shoulder blades and my neck. So I'm really arching as deeply as I can. And then you bring it forward. And here the mistake is to push the lower back down. Don't push the lower back down. Instead, bring the breastbone forward. The lower back will curve downwards a little bit anyway. So make sure if you feel pressure increasing in your lower back, that you react to it. So you would have to just make sure that you don't drop it too low down. Shoulders are down, please. Good. Oh, it's a nice stretch through the tummy, that one. So no forcing or pushing through the curve of your spine. Small of your back. One more time. Now we're going to come into the child's pose. If you have got knees that don't want to come into a child's pose, then turn onto your back and pull your knees to your chest. Good. You're going to bring this as far back as you can, as far back as you feel comfortable. Good. Hold it there and breathe. Pull your tummy in. Find the stretch in your legs, maybe your lower back, maybe your shoulders. And do make sure that your elbows are not on the floor. So lengthen those arms forward for me. Perfect. And then come up again and just give your hands a quick shake. Perfect. So we're going back into that 4-point kneeling position. Let's talk about neutral spine. So this is a cat position. This is a cow position. And I, for a neutral spine, need you somewhere in between. So your natural curve of your spine. Good posture. So back of your head is lifted, shoulders are down, tail is slightly tucked in, not too much, and there's a little dip just above the hips. Good. We're now going to draw the belly button in and lift the pelvic floor. We're going to exhale to extend the leg. Big toe is on the floor. And inhale. And then exhale to lift that leg away from the mat, making sure that our hips don't drop. Good. And then bring the big toe back down and go again. And exhale to lift. Inhale, bring it down. Really focus on your core connection. Pull your tummy and lift your pelvic floor. Make sure the hip don't drop. Yeah, make sure the shoulders don't drop. The elbows stay nice and long. Back of the head is lifted. Breathe out. Breathe in. And you should feel an activation, not just through the tummy, but also in that bum cheek. And that bum cheek. Clench your bottom. Good. You've got one more. Lift it up. Bring the big toe down and slowly bring it back underneath your hip. Good. And now slowly change over to the other side. Slide the leg out. Roll that belly button in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Do it again and breathe out. Breathe in. Make sure you pull the tummy in really, really tightly. Breathe out. Breathe in, the hip doesn't drop, so make sure it doesn't drop that way. Keep it nice and parallel to the floor. Breathe out. I'm sure you're doing a fantastic job. And again, breathe out. Breathe in. 2 more. Breathe out. Breathe in. You can do 1 more. Breathe out. Breathe in and slide the leg back. Perfect. Good. We're now going to come into something called the plank. So come all the way down onto the floor with your hips. Good. My elbows are underneath my shoulders. So they're not wider than my shoulders, they're directly underneath my shoulders. I'm going to lengthen my legs and I'm going to turn my heels inwards. Good. So the first thing you need to do is you need to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, you pull the belly button away from the floor and you tuck your tail between your legs. Good. Now hold it there. Don't lose it again. And then make sure that you're not down here with your chest. Lift your chest away from the floor. Lift the back of your head and hold it in this position. Breathe and hold. Good, good, good. Now I'm going to give you one harder position here. So this is a level 1. And then a level 2, you come up onto your knees. Come up onto your knees, lift the hips up. Tuck the tail in. Keep breathing, shoulders back and down, tummy pulled in, and you'll find that your body temperature will go up in this position. So when that happens, just make sure you don't get too hot and don't hold your breath. Really important. Do not hold your breath. Keep breathing nice and deep. In through the nose and out through pursed lips. Keep tucking the tail between your legs. Keep pulling your tummy towards the spine. Got 3 more breaths. 2. Last one. And then very gently bring it back down again. Very, very gently. And then bring your weight all the way onto the floor. Good. My hands, I'm going to turn slightly this way. My hands are in a surrender position. So they're parallel to the mat, not on top, otherwise that bunches your shoulders up. So next to the mat. I'll do that way again. They're slightly lower than your shoulders. So they're not up here. They're slightly further towards your hips. Turn your head. Turn the heels inwards so that you've got feet like Charlie Chaplin, but with lengthened toes, not with flexed feet. Now I'm going to draw the belly button away from the floor and tuck your tail in. Pull the shoulders down, take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, you're just going to lift the back of the head away from the mat. Keep the forearms on the floor. And then inhale, bring it back down again. Do that again for me. And exhale to come up. Inhale to bring it down. You'd really widen through the elbows, widen through the shoulder blades as you do this, and really activate the back of your head and your neck. So you don't want to steer this up with your shoulders. You want to come up with the back of your head. So it's a neck exercise, a core exercise, and it also mobilizes the back. So strengthen that neck by lifting the back of your head up. Imagine you're opening up a trapdoor with the back of your head. So don't open it up with your shoulders. The back of your head is the highest point. So in some people, this exercise will go straight into their backs, most likely because you're not pulling that tummy in, you're not lifting the pelvic floor, particularly if you've got a healthy back. So if there's nothing wrong with your back and you can feel this in your lower back, then see if you can just pull the tummy in more. Tuck your tail a little bit more, clench your bum cheeks a touch more and lengthen those legs. Okay, now if you can do a little bit more, you're going to press the hands into the floor and come off the forearms. And don't work on height here, work on length. So imagine that you're crawling forward without actually moving. So you're pressing those hands into the floor and you're really lengthening the breastbone forward. So the breastbone is that flat bone between your nipples. That's your breastbone. And really push the hips into the mat as you do this. Extend forward. And what you should feel is essentially that sensation of lengthening your tummy muscles. So see if you can lengthen your tummy muscles forward. Hard work for the shoulders as well. Okay, you've got one more. Inhale. And exhale. Lift the back of your head up. And then bring it back down again. Perfect. Lovely. Give your bum a quick wiggle. Good. We're now going to turn our head so the cheek is lying on the floor. Arm position is still the same. Draw that belly in again, tuck your tail in. You're going to inhale, and on the exhale, you're going to lift the back of your head up, and you're going to turn the head over to the other side. Keep your breastbone on the mat. So we're not lifting anything up as such, except for the head and neck, but the heaviness of our chest and rib cage stays on the mat. But what you do need to do is you need to pull the tummy in and create a little hollowness underneath your belly button. Imagine you've got a ladybird living underneath there, and you want to give that ladybird a little bit of air. So don't squash it as you turn the head. Good, and hopefully with a few more repetitions, you'll get more and more range of movement. So the aim of this exercise is to mobilize your neck. And obviously you need this, particularly if you drive, you need to be able to turn your head properly. And a lot of us have lots of tightness in the neck from looking down into our phones and computers. Two more. Release that neck. One more time. Good. And just have a quick rest and just wiggle your bum cheeks gently from side to side. Next one up is a single leg extension. So we're going to work on legs. I've got my hands, one on top of the other one, underneath my forehead. So my nose is free flowing and I can breathe. I'm now going to just work on the core connection. So pull the shoulders back and down. Lengthen the spine from the hips up into the crown of the head. Lengthen the spine from the hips down into your feet. You really lengthen. You're going to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, all you're going to do is pull the belly button away from the floor and see if you can pull up your pelvic floor at the same time. And inhale, relax again. Do that a few times. Inhale. And exhale. Pull that belly away from the floor and gently tuck your tail between your legs. And then release again. And again, inhale. Exhale, pull the tummy away, tuck your tail gently between your legs. And relax again. So we're now going to pull the tummy away and tuck the tail and lift the pelvic floor, and then we're going to hold it.
Yeah, and that is your basic core engagement. So if you let go of that, you can feel this in your lower back. We are now going to extend with each breath one leg. So you want to try to lift the big toe and the kneecap off the floor, not with height, but with length. So yes, you're giving enough height so the big toe and the kneecap lifts, but you're then going to try to lengthen the leg rather than lift the leg. So it's a little bit different to other classes when they just lift that leg. It's not a lifting, it's a lengthening. You're going to make sure that the two sides of your waist stay the same length. So you're cutting the movement off by the hip. So you're not working with your upper body here. The upper body is lengthened, the shoulders are pulled down, but you're not lengthening the leg. Both toes stay exactly the same length as you do this. Breathe out. Breathe in. Now let's do a little bit of a pulse. So you're going to lift the leg up, hold, and I'll pulse it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and bring it down. Pulsing is great for your stabilizing muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Keep going. Keep pulling that tummy in. Keep lifting your pelvic floor. Breath-wise, it's like a little steam train when you pulse. And bring it down again. Maybe a little bit less strong. Now do it a bit stronger so you can hear it. Yeah, it's like you're blowing a feather over a table, so don't blow a candle out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep pulling the tummy in, otherwise the lower back will go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And relax. Good work. Let's turn over onto backs. So should I be giving you too many repetitions? You do as much as you can. And then you have a rest. All right, lying on our back. If you're lying on your back and your neck hurts, then you need a towel underneath your head. Don't put the big block underneath the head. A, it's too hard, and B, it's too big. Just something to raise up the head so you can lie here with your chin pulling forward and the neck pain-free. But if you don't need anything, then don't place anything underneath your head. Good. Our feet are at a comfortable distance away from our bottom, so not too far away, fairly close. And I would like the feet to be hip width apart so you can fit a fist between the knees and your feet. You're going to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, you're going to gently pull the skin of your lower back forwards to mat. On the inhale, you reverse. So this is an exercise that I do a lot. So if you've got weakness in the lower back, this is a great way to strengthen that lower back. So if I remove my hand here, have a look at my hip bone. I'm pulling the hip bone towards me. The back is now flat, and then I recreate the curve underneath my lower back. So if you're struggling with this, take your hand, place it underneath the lower back, and then just feel how you're gently pressing the skin of your lower back onto your hand, and release it again. Nice, your pelvic tip. You do a couple more, and then we're going to just make sure that you're doing it right by giving you a different exercise. And then we're going to come back to this. Breathe out. Breathe in. Good. And then hold it in neutral. A neutral spine is when you've got that little curve underneath that lower back. The hips are facing vertically up to the ceiling. So imagine headlamps and they're shining up to the ceiling. Good. So what you're going to do, go ahead and cup your bum cheeks. Good. You're now going to take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, you're going to clench your bum cheeks together. On inhale, excuse me, relax. So on the exhale, you clench your bum cheeks. On the inhale, you relax and really clench them properly. So as tightly as you can. Really squeeze them. And relax. And you should feel that squeeze with your hands, but you should also feel the squeeze in your body. You should feel how those bum cheeks are hardening. Good. So that's your bottom working. And I find that one side of my bum cheek is working a lot harder than the other one. Good. So if you have that, if you have one lazy bum cheek, then just see if you can increase the other side. Just focus on clenching the other side a little bit more. You can have one more of these, please. Good.
Clench those bum cheeks and then relax. Good, and feel what that feels like on your skin, on your hand, when you've got a relaxed bum cheek. Good, we're now going to go back to the pelvic tilt. You're going to give me a pelvic tilt by clenching your bum cheeks. So feel that same engagement, feel the lower back sinking onto the mat, and reverse it again. Do that again, breathe out, clench both of your bum cheeks, and reverse. Good, we only want to do 3 of these. Yeah, did you feel the bum cheeks engage? So what you need to do now in order to get to those deep abdominal muscles, you need to switch off your external muscles, i.e. those bum cheeks. So when you do a pelvic tilt, you want to do it with the breath out, and you want to use the belly button and the pelvic floor. So hold on to your bum cheeks, and now you're going to give me a pelvic tilt, same movement, but I can hold on to my bum cheek and there is hardly any connection. There's no squeezing through the bottom, nothing at all. But the same movement, but I'm producing this movement with different muscles. Does that make sense? So don't allow your bum cheeks to overtake your pelvic tilt. Bum cheeks are amazing. They are trying to help with almost all of your bodily movements. But in this occasion, we would like the bum cheeks to take a big step back, and we would like those core muscles to do most of the work. So you can let go of your bum cheeks now. Breathe out and breathe in. And really important to connect to your deep abdominal muscles is that breath out. So here, try your hardest to breathe out as you gently drop that lower back onto the mat. Good. One more time, breathe out and breathe in. And then bring the hips back into neutral. So it's really important you understand the difference between pulling the lower back onto the mat and being in neutral. So when you have that little gap underneath the lower back. So now we're going to go into pelvic floor engagement. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, you're going to find your back passage and your genitals, and you're going to try to lift it. Breathe out as you do this. Breathe in to relax. Good, go again and breathe out and breathe in. So what you should feel is a hardening here of the tummy wall, but there is no movement in the hips. So I can't see any movement. I can't feel any movement. Those bum cheeks in particular, they're completely flat. There's absolutely no engagement through your bum cheeks. It's all internal. So try to find your back passage. It's the same muscle that you use to hold in wind. And also try to find your genitals. So for the gentleman, it's lifting the scrotum up, the feeling of lifting through the genitals. For us ladies, it's much more internal. So it's almost if you put your pelvic floor in a lift and then you ascend it into the center of your body and then release it again. Good. Going, breathe out, pull it up and breathe in. Now, why on earth should you be doing these exercises? Now, these exercises, they are great to strengthen that pelvic floor. And as I just told you, the back passage, the bladder, everything it's in this area. So if that gets weak, and unfortunately with the aging process, and it happens to all of us, all of our muscles get weaker. So if that pelvic floor gets weak, you're going to struggle with leakage. We don't want that. We want to stay nice and dry. I mean, so many women my age, they gave birth and they never quite got that pelvic floor right again, and they can't go on a trampoline anymore. My mom, she's in her late 70s. When she sneezes, she struggles. So anything like that, and obviously you want to, the more that happens, the smaller your world becomes because you get ashamed to go out. And so make sure that you keep that pelvic floor nice and activated. Good. We're now going to place our hands to our side. If you struggle with your pelvic floor, again, come and see us in real life, and we try to explain it in many more different ways. Good. You're now going to bring the lower back onto the mat for a pelvic tilt, and now we're going to peel our spine away from the floor. Our pelvic floor is still lifted, the tummy is still pulling in, and you're trying to create a diagonal line from the knees to the hips into the shoulders. You're going to take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, you're going to roll it back down. Good, now listen, for a back that has got osteoporosis, you've got to be a little bit more careful. So what I would like you to do, I would like you, all of you, to focus on really working with your shoulders and your feet.
So when you bring that spine downwards and upwards, you don't apply a huge amount of pressure into each individual bone. Right here at the top, you have your weight on your shoulders and not directly on your vertebra. On the way down, you touch each vertebra, but you keep it nice and light. Keep going, nice and light. All the way down. Good, and the aim here for the bridge is to find each and every vertebra individually. So peel it off all the way to the top. So you're isolating, you're segmenting your spine. Each and every vertebra individually is moved. And don't forget, you have a pelvic tilt at the beginning and also a pelvic tilt at the very end. Good. This time, you're going to hold it at the top and we're going to make it a little tiny bit harder. So tilt, lift it all the way to the top. Keep your weight on your shoulders, maybe even pull the shoulders a little bit deeper underneath you. Make sure that your head is loose so you can turn your head both ways. Good, on the inhale, you prepare. On the exhale, you're going to lift one heel up. On the inhale, you bring it down. On the exhale, the heel is lifting. On the inhale down, I feel a nice stretch to the front of my hips. I can feel my quadriceps, the front of me and my thighs, lengthening as well. Good. You want to work on keeping your hips perfectly balanced. So there's no dipping going on through those hips. Really clench your bum cheeks as you do this. Breathe out. Breathe in. Other side. Breathe out. Activate. The opposite bum cheek is working. So if I lift my right heel, it's my left bum cheek that I need to engage, not on the same side. Good, and again. Up. Inhale down. Other side, lift up. Inhale down, take a deep breath in, and then exhale to bring it back down again. All the way down. Don't weight bearing to one area. Keep your weight on your shoulders. Good. And then pull one knee and the other knee towards you. Straight towards you, please. Good. And don't just hold them, pull them in. Good. And now we're going to widen our legs to open up our hips. My feet are not touching anymore. Nice open sensation through those hips. Tuck those knees towards you. Relax your shoulders. Good. And then close those knees again. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, we do it again. We slowly open up our knees. We're pulling and tucking those knees forwards, our bodies. Bring it back together. Bring your feet onto the floor. Bring the arms to your side. Draw the belly button. Lift your pelvic floor. And then you're going to go from side to side. Dip. Bring it back to the center and over to the other side. Keep going with this. You don't want to go too far too quickly. Really focus on pulling everything in again. Lifting that pelvic floor, keeping the shoulders on the mat. Good. I can feel a gentle stretch in my lower back here. But because I keep my shoulders on the floor, I can also feel my chest opening up. Good. Keep going, please. Keep going. Just need to quickly check my computer. Something came up. It's half term as well for me, so I've got my children upstairs and they managed to connect their, whatever they're working on for school, to my computer. So sometimes when they chat to their friends via the school system, it all comes up on my computer and then I go, oh, I have no idea what's going on. And hopefully you'll find more range of movement with each of these. And don't forget to pull your tummy in. You don't want to allow the curve in your lower back to get bigger. Move your head to the opposite way. The knees go one way, head goes the other way. And again, back to the center. Good, we're now going to do an exercise called the 100. So we're going to pulse with our arms 100 times. But there's a few things we need to take into consideration first. So come back into neutral. We're now going to take our hips and we're going to imprint our lower back. So our lower back sits flat on the floor and I'm really tightening through that belly button and I'm lifting that pelvic floor. I'm also gently clenching my bum cheeks so they can help. My chin now comes forward. My arms are reaching towards my heels. I then lift my arms up and can you see my shoulders? I'm really pulling them down into the floor. And then I'm start pulsing my arms. And you're going to start breathing in through the nose, out through pursed lips. Blow a feather over a table. Good, keep going and make sure you're not flapping your hands. You're not flapping. We are moving through the full arm and really engage those shoulders. Pull the chin towards your chest. Draw the belly button in. Lift the pelvic floor. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through pursed lips. In through the nose and out through pursed lips. And your tummy muscles should be really, really tight as you do this. No rocking through the neck, no rocking through the shoulders. It should feel like hard work. Don't let go. You're halfway there. Keep going. I'm really bad at counting, so I'm always guessing when 100 pulses is over. So if you need a break long before I give it to you, and obviously you have that break. But if you can last all the way to the end, there's 30 more to go. Keep going. Keep pulling that tummy in really tightly. In through the nose, out through pursed lips. So if somebody poked you in the tummy at this very moment, they would break their fingers off. You're so tight around that belly area. It's like somebody's tightened a big belt around your waist. In through the nose, out through pursed lips. One more breath. In through the nose, out through pursed lips, and rest. Completely relaxed. Perfect. Good. We're now going to bring the arms out again. We're going to turn the palms up, and this time we're going to widen our feet until the little toes are touching the outside of that mat. Good. We're pulling the tummy in again, and now we're twisting again like we did earlier. But this one isn't so much felt in the lower back. This is much more felt in the front of your hips. So the wider the leg, the deeper the stretch is going to be felt. So go ahead and widen those legs a little bit more. Both of them, feet at knees. Pull that belly in as you do this. Over and back to the other side. Away from the knees. Again, a little bit lower with each one of these. Make sure you can feel a stretch. And that was your last one. Bring your knees back to the center. We're now going to roll over onto our side. You're going to grab your books or your block. And you're going to use it like a pillow. Good. So make sure that you've got enough height underneath your head so that your spine is in line with the rest of you. So just compare this to this position. Can you see how my spine now is in an angle? So I want enough blocks, books, cushions, pillows, whatever you can find, so that your spine, your head is in line with the rest of you. Good. We're now going to bring the bottom shoulder right underneath our bodies, and we're going to pull the arm forward. Good. My waist is lifted here. I'm going to extend that leg. So it doesn't matter how much weight you carry, you should still be able to lift and give lightness underneath that waist, particularly once you've lengthened that leg. Good. Our starting position is at hip height, not down here. Lift it up to hip height. Our other hand is in front of us. Our 5 fingers are holding to the floor. You're going to lift that leg up and bring it down. So really important is that you keep your leg in line with your body. So you're not working in front of you, you're working in line with your body. Bottom leg is not just relaxing, the bottom leg has got the big job to stabilize our upper body. Good. And now think about your posture. Think about the length in your spine. So my heel, my bum, my shoulders, the back of the head is all lined up. So see if you can pull the back of your head a little bit further back and open up your chest. Lift that breastbone up at the same time. Tuck the tail between your legs and keep breathing out on the way up, in on the way down, out on the way up, in on the way down. Good. You're now going to lift and give me 3 pulses. 1, 2, 3, and bring it back down again. Go again. 1, 2, 3. The legs should start to become quite heavy. 1, 2, 3. Bring it down again. 1, 2, 3. I've got length all the way into my ankle. 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more. And 1, 2, 3. Good. And then rest that leg. Good job. Next one up is to climb. So we're opening and closing our knees. Good. So that's the movement. My toes are staying together. Really important here is that you check your knee length. So you quickly just bring your chin forward, have a look, and make sure that the top knee is at least as long as the bottom knee, if not a little bit longer. And once you've checked that, make sure that you keep lengthening that knee forward. Our feet don't move. You lengthen through the hip area. And that one again, pull that waist off the floor. I'm pulling my tummy in. I'm tucking my tail between my legs. I'm lifting my pelvic floor. I'm keeping my posture perfectly aligned. Good. Again, we're going to do 3 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, and bring it down. Go again. You go 1, 2, 3, and take it down. Off you go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 2 more, please. And 1, 2, 3. Take it down. One last time. 1, 2, 3. And bring the legs down. Good. Now bring both hands together. Push the block back a little bit. Pull the shoulders back and down. Draw the belly button in. Lift the top arm off and give me a rotation through your spine. Make sure you don't fall off that block. So maybe you need to move it back a little bit more. So the aim of this rotation that we're doing here is spinal mobility. So not the mobility in your chest muscle. We've already stretched the chest muscle, so we're not working on that. You really want to work on, so for a hair malfunction here, you really want to work at rotating the whole of your torso to the back of the wall. So I can actually drop my arm all the way onto the floor, but I purposely don't do that. I keep it quite far up and I work through the rib cage. I'm gently dropping that rib cage back. Now, just be careful if you've got osteoporosis, you don't want to keep your hips perfectly rigid. So you want to just allow the top hip, not the bottom leg, the top hip to pull back a little bit. So we're going to give a little bit in that rotation, so it's not too tight. But if you haven't got osteoporosis, see if you can keep your hips completely facing forward as you rotate and really lengthen through that spine. Imagine that you're a spit roast. So somebody inserted a skewer from the top of your head through your vertebra and out your bum, and you can only rotate along that axis. So make sure that you're not collapsing through the chest. Breathe out on the way back, breathe in at the back, and then breathe out to bring it back to the front. Well done. Let's go over to the other side without doing any exercises in between, so that we're still fresh in our memory, isn't it? What we need to do. So let me talk you through this here. Heels, bum, shoulders, back of the head, everything is lined up. Pull the bottom shoulder underneath your body. Good, lengthen that leg. Draw the belly button in, tuck the tail in, lift the leg up, bring it back down again. See if you can breathe out on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. Make sure they're nowhere near the floor. So you're really using that strength. Good. Shoulders down, please. Back of the head back, no double chins. Really work what's happening in the upper body here. So there's nothing relaxing. Everything is tight. See if you can breathe out on the way up. Breathe out on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. Going. Breathe out on the way up. Breathe in on the way down. 3 pulses. 1, 2, 3. Good. Make sure that your waist is lifted again. 1, 2, 3. How can you lift the waist up? By lengthening that leg more. Pulling the tummy in more. Everything that you tried to do today and it's not quite working as well as you think it should, then don't worry about it. Next time, you will do it perfectly. 1, 2, 3. Just keep breathing. And 1, 2, 3. 2 more. And 1, 2, 3. Last one. And 1, 2, 3. And rest. Sure. Next one up is a clown. Make sure your knees are exactly the same length or the top leg a little bit longer, and then open and close. Really important is that you don't allow your top hip to pull back. So imagine you're doing this exercise stuck between 2 sheets of glass. Pull the hips forward, and the muscle you want to use is right here. Also your core, your posture. Try to execute all of your exercises with perfect posture. So your body gets used to that stacking sensation. And you realize when you're not in good posture. Open up. And close. 3 pulses. And 3. 1. And bring it down. Make sure you don't rock through the hip. So the hip disc bone here stays perfectly static. And again, 3, 2, 1. And again, 3, 2, 1. If you've had enough before I give you a break, have that break. Last one. And 3, 2, 1. And bring those knees together. Perfect. Good. Arms forward. Push the block back a little bit. Making sure that my hair is in the way this time. And it's that rotation again. And again. Oh, this is my tight side. So I'm going to start small. And I make it bigger. Don't go full on, full rotation and then overdo it. So start small and become bigger as you warm into it, as you warm up. And exhale to rotate. Inhale to bring it back to the front. And exhale to rotate. Shoulders are down, please. And again, find that rotation in your torso. Make sure the bottom shoulder is in the right place. So make sure you really pull that bottom shoulder right underneath your body. And that will also help with the waist lift. Because if the shoulder is too far forward, your whole side will sit on the floor. There was a whole time when I was teaching face-to-face again after COVID, where a lot of you guys came in and said, oh, I can't lie on my side, I just had my chance. Not so much anymore now. Good. And you should find more range of movement. Let's do the last one. And inhale. Lovely. Excellent. Right. Okay. So, release your block, but find your band and then lie on the floor again. We are going to go into leg stretches. So open up your band or the rope of the belt of your bathrobe and just drape it over your hips. You don't need it straight away. We're going to take one leg, we're going to fold the ankle over the knee, and we're just going to allow that knee to sink out. And you should find a stretch in your hip bum cheek area. See if you can keep both sides of your waist same length. All that does, it gives you a better quality stretch. So see if you can keep those hips level to your shoulders, so parallel to your shoulders. If you want more, you can lift that leg towards you, that standing leg. If you find that your head lifts off when you do this, then please grab your block and stick your block underneath your head. But only if you need to. So I don't need to do that because my head stays on the floor. Good. And another good tip here is to pull your leg that you're holding on to straight towards you rather than diagonally. Again, it gives you a better quality stretch. With the stretches, you don't need to force, you don't need to push, you don't need to be in agony. You just need to feel it. So from a scale from 1 to 10, 1 is you asleep, 10 is you screaming. A stretch that goes to maybe a 4 is perfect. Good. How long should you hold the stretch? I always say, hold your stretch until you get bored, and then count to 10. Around 40 seconds would be great. Pick this up if you need to, you don't have to, just folding the leg over might be enough. Shoulders are back and down, chin comes forward again. If the head lifts off, you might need a block underneath your head. Good, and then release the leg. Grab your band, pull one knee towards you, and strap your foot into the band. And then just lengthen it. Good, that's down after the back of your thighs and your calves. We've already stretched out the calves at the beginning, so particularly important is this muscle here, your hamstring. If you bend your knee like this, the hamstring doesn't really do very much stretch-wise. So if you can, really lengthen that leg. Shoulders are in the floor, elbows are down, shoulders are also relaxed, and then just tease that towards you. You'll find if the leg is in front of your hips that you might have a little bit of a gap underneath the lower back, but not much. You want to pull in through the tummy. The closer the leg comes towards you, the flatter your back will become. But still, you need to pull that tummy in. Hold it, relax those shoulders. Again, from a level from 1 to 10, about a 4 would be perfect. Hold and breathe. And gently bend the knee. Good. See if you can pull your tummy in and swap the legs over without sitting up. Lengthen that side. You might find that one side is tighter than the other, and that's absolutely normal. Good. The more you pull your big toe towards you, the more you lengthen the heel up to the ceiling, better the stretch is felt. Right, so keep holding it while I finish off the class. I hope you enjoyed your Back to Basics Pilates class. If this is something that really suits you and you want to come to a face-to-face class, I currently teach one on a Monday morning at 8:50 and one on a Friday morning at 10 o'clock. My Monday morning is less busy than my Friday morning class. You have to book early for both of these sessions. Yes, what else can I say about the classes? Yeah, the 8:50 one is in the little studio, the Monday one, so there is less people, which means I have more time to look at you, but I would love to see you. Any feedback? Tell me when you see me at the club. Yeah, and then release that leg, come out of the band. Now turn onto your side for me, come into a seated position first. Good, and then depending on how well you stand up, you're going to stand up once you've sat here for a few moments. And that is it. You should be all feeling a little bit taller, a little bit less stiff, and a little bit stronger. Have a lovely, lovely time. I'll see you later.